Welcome back to Money Mavs. My name is Dylan. This is Josh. Excited to bring back another episode of Money Mavericks and just kind of continue our conversations on what it looks like to think and believe differently, but also most importantly, operate differently in the world of personal finance. Excited for another video today. Our topic is just continuing on with our theme of the psychology of money. We're talking about what it means to overcome financial anxiety. And so if you're listening, some of the questions start, asking yourself, does thinking about money stress you out? Does thinking about where you're at financially stress you out? You're just thinking about your inability to manage finances stress you out. If it does, you're not alone. Come along for the ride. That's what we're going to talk about today. I would love to kind of pitch it to you, Josh, give you the chance to maybe explain a little bit what financial anxiety is.
Yeah. I guess kind of from our perspective, it's like, well, first of all, like we have to address, like, it's real,
Yeah.
People struggle with financial anxiety. Frankly, people struggle with anxiety and pick a topic and there's anxiety surrounding it. But obviously, for our channel, like we talk about finance specifically. So financial anxiety, like it's real,
Mm-hmm.
And so with the right mindset and accountability and community and maybe even more important than those things, but these things just aid in this discipline. So accountability and community and mindset ultimately lead to discipline. But with the right mindset, community, accountability, and discipline, you can overcome it and take control of your financial future. And
That's right.
the reality is that it is possible. A lot of people, like, they get stuck in this hole, and they're like, God, I'm never going to get out of this hole. And, it really does become this self-defeating sort of trap that you get stuck into. But like understanding financial anxiety, building community and support around it, using accountability and developing disciplined habits to help reduce that stress and that anxiety is really what we're going to be talking about today. So Dylan, what again, like, what from your perspective, if we could just like define it, I guess, what is financial anxiety to you?
Yeah, I would say, and I can say this from personal experience because I'm somebody that deals with it every day. I would say a persistent worry or fear around money, and that can mean a lot of things. It could be the fear of not having enough, the worry of making mistakes with money, the fear of your future financial security. And for me, that's the biggest one. It is the fear of what the future looks like if I will have enough. Some people might even fear practical things like opening a bill that they know is due, or checking their bank account balance, or discussing their finances with others.
Yeah, dude, I've been there before. Like, I recently moved my family and I to Arizona. It's about a year and a half ago now. But I remember, like, when we first moved here, I was in mortgages at the time, and still is in a lot of ways, but the mortgage market was just so dry because rates had gone up so quickly. And as a mortgage loan originator, you only make a paycheck if you close a loan. And so, like, my worry was, as I was, like, we had just moved our family, didn't know anybody, like, figuring out, we also didn't have any of our stuff for 2 months upon moving here. So literally sleeping on an air mattress for 2 months was, its own sort of challenge. But, not having a paycheck and just watching your bank account dry up, like, you start, and when you got 2 kids and a wife, like, you start to think through, like, holy crap, what have I done? Did I totally screw up my life? And it's a real thing,
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit, not me, us, everyone listening, about how that mindset, impacts your decision-making, impacts your relationships, and just your overall state of being.
Yeah. Dude, like, I remember it was like one of the worries, is, as a man of the household, you're really trying hard not to, project your emotions and feelings onto those who you're supposed to be providing for. So that was its own sort of unique challenge as well. And trying to, make it look like I have everything together. In those kind of situations, you have like one option, and that's you put your head down and you keep going, and you try your best as difficult and challenging. And I wish, honestly, like I wish I had other people around me who I could talk to a little bit more. And I didn't want to talk to my wife because, you know, I didn't want her to feel the undue stress and anxiety that I was feeling, you know? But like, you know, as you're watching your bank account empty, like you start to freak out. You're like, like how many more months do I have left? You know?
Yeah.
Scary.
And I think for me, like, you know, going back to my fear for the future, you know, I shared in a previous video. I grew up in a family that we always had what we needed, but there was not extra, and there was not above and beyond to where we could think to the future, and we were kind of going month to month. And that, as a teenager, created that fear of the future in me, which impacts my relationships today. It impacts my relationship with my wife because there have just in full transparency, there's been moments where I've freaked out over a minor expense that she made, because because of the deep rooted fear of like making money mistakes and not having enough for the future. And
dude, 100%. But I'm the one who typically handles the finances in my marriage. And, you know, I look at the like credit card transaction literally in our mobile app. You know, I'm looking in the Costco City app and everything. And I'm like, babe, did you really need to spend X amount of dollars on that? Like, is that like, did you really need to do that? You know? And I'm like texting her, like, was that really like, you know, and so it does affect your relationships, but, I want to like, how can community help reduce financial anxiety? What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah. A lot of things. You know, for me, not including you, we're in different states, you know, but in my personal life, I have two guys that I meet with, I would say, you know, regularly definitely on a monthly basis. And we meet for the purpose of talking through, you know, all things in life, you know, our faith or things like that. But one of the topics is finances. And it's comforting to me to know that I have a space where, at least on a monthly basis, I've got two people where I can express those anxieties, express those fears. I can be open and vulnerable. And you know what, as men, it's really hard to be open and vulnerable, but to be open and vulnerable about the causes of my financial anxiety. That's one of the benefits of community, right? Is to have a space to just let it out, share about growing up in financial instability, share about your negative experiences with debt or money management, share about your fear of judgment or failure. To succeed in anything in life, really, I think you have to be able to be vulnerable and admit where you are either wrong or messing up or fearful or scared. And money is no different. And so having that safe space of community, it's the reason that things like Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous work, right? Because when people go to those gatherings, like they always say, right, the 12-step program, the first step is admitting that you have a problem. You can't do anything without that, but you need that space to do it.
No, that's so true. And just being in like a community of people where you can just like, dude, like I don't know what to do. Because I mean, the power of community is such that when you verbalize something and say something in front of a group of people, all those other people are coming at it from like a different perspective, and they're able to actually not only emotionally support you, and like we're guys, we don't really like to talk about our emotions, whatever. No. Man, talk about your emotions, you know?
Absolutely.
But as well, in addition to the emotional element of it, there's also the practical element. And when you open up in a community like that, they offer not just emotional support and to reduce the stress and anxiety, but as well practical tips for your unique specific situation, because everybody's financial situation is different. And so when you're able to, you know, synergize really with people in like, I don't know what, a supportive money circle, if you want to call it that, and you're in a support group for finances, like friends, family, online communities, whatever it is. We have our own online community that we're building, where you can openly discuss those struggles. And think of the power and think of how you can get out of that rut of just being in that downward spiral. So, and that's what I say, like, look for local money meetups or online communities, focus on financial wellness, like our Discord. You know, there's probably a lot of other good ones out there as well, but you know. Yeah,
that's all I was going to say, was just to anybody listening to this thinking like, you're talking to me, like you're talking to my fears, my anxieties, the issues that I've had with handling finances. like start now, I mean, as
Yeah.
practically as joining our Discord server, you know, and digital community is great. There's a reason that we're creating this, but I would also strongly encourage you, like, if possible, find somebody that you're already in relationship with, like that you can physically gather with, because there's no replacing, you know, that power as well. And so just surround yourself, join our Discord, you know, join our channel, all these things. That's the community we're wanting to create. Just find that safe space.
Yeah. And here's really, you know, why accountability matters so much, and how it helps you take control of your finances. Helps you keep you on track. It reduces your procrastination for you to do the things that you already know you need to do, because you got somebody holding your feet to the fire. And it's so common to procrastinate and be stressed when it comes to finances. And so really quick, three tips you want to go over just as we, I guess, kind of get close to wrapping up here, Dylan.
Our kind of three, this is Josh and I's, like, three practical ways to build accountability, right? Tip one, you know, partner with a friend or a family member to set financial goals together. Have regular check-ins on progress with that person. Maybe it's a spouse, a boyfriend, girlfriend, a best friend, whoever it is, somebody that is on your team, on your side. Tip number two, join a budgeting group where members are sharing their financial goals, struggles, and achievements. That exists here in our Discord server. That's part of the community we're creating. There's Facebook groups, there's Reddit threads, there's endless opportunities for you to connect in that world. Tip number three, we've said it 1,000 times, and we're going to say it 1,000 more times. Use a budget. And I would argue more specifically, use a budgeting app to, especially one that might have shared goal features that allows you to kind of like compete with people.
Yes.
So your accountability partner can have access and track your progress in real time.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And really what you're kind of talking about here is really just having financial discipline. And this is why, like, hey, you can listen to these three tips and, like, that's all fine and good. We live in this, like, you know, soundbite kind of culture, which, you know, it's like, oh man, that's such good parenting tips. Or such good financial tips, or such good whatever tips, you know? But it's like, hey, if you don't have the discipline to back it up, you just wasted your time. Like, do you remember any of the short videos that you watched from yesterday? No, because you don't have discipline about it, and you don't have the financial accountability around it for somebody to spur you on. This is why we exist. This is why we exist, so that we can actually help people move forward in their finances in practical ways and help them remain disciplined.
Well, and what I hear you saying too is like, it's really the idea of consistency over perfection. You can't look at your personal finances and agonize over being perfect. This is true in every area of life that you want to get better at. Like, if you're agonizing over perfection, you will always be disappointed. You'll always be left in shame and fear, and just your inability to achieve what you want to achieve. But if your goal is consistency, you can have a measurable pattern to success. It's, you know, you and I are in the sales world, right? You know, it's no different than making calls when you're trying to sell something. It's you know, it's not perfecting each and every one, but just repetition. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's so, like, I mean, I feel like we could wrap it up there, but you know, I mean, like, that's just so good. And it's not just about, like, you know, having like some weird, like, we could do this, you know, some weird, like, positivity kind of mindset thing. Like, that's good and necessary and important and everything. But, like, let's be real, and, like, we come back to center and we are neutral about it. And we say, okay, here's where I'm at. Like, I'm not going to just, like, put my head in the cloud or my head in the clouds and think like, like, it's going to be good. You know, like, you're not just like, you know, like, put a Band-Aid over it kind of thing. You have to actually do something about it, which starts with like neutral thinking and coming back to center and saying, okay, let's be real about the situation. Here's some things that I'm going to do, and I'm actually going to do it. And I need that accountability around me to be able to do it. And as I do it, like, it's going to be ups and downs. Like, you're going to have stress. It's going to be difficult. It's not going to be, you know, just a cakewalk or anything. But as you move forward with those practical steps, then you get to look back on things and see your progress. Man, now that's empowering. Right?
That's right.
That then fuels a positivity sort of mindset.
That's right.
So really, just to recap, financial anxiety, it's common. Everybody has it to some extent.
That's right.
They're probably lying to themselves if they don't. But through community accountability and disciplined actions, honestly, like it can be managed, and you can absolutely manage it. So, take the first step, join our Discord. It's free. There's, paid versions as well. But as we're starting out, it's like join us on the journey. Like we're figuring this out as we go, reach out to a friend to discuss financial goals. Ask them to share their experience with any anxiety around finances they've had. And then try one small, like not even three. Like we gave you 3 tips, just do one. Like just do one. Focus on one small tip this week. Whether it's like tracking your spending, creating a budget, having a financial conversation with somebody. Start overcoming that financial anxiety now by putting in one practical step.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you can get control of your financial anxiety. You can, it's not easy or anything like that, but you can build a future of confidence and peace around money. Any closing thoughts that you have, Dylan?
No, that's it. I mean, I think we could just tie it with a bow there. I mean, it's remember confidence over perfection. And remember that your mindset matters. The thoughts that you think every day, the ways that you believe about yourself and your behavior matter. And so begin to just take control of that financial fear to build that future of confidence and peace.
100%. We're Money Mavs, helping you think differently about finances.
Yeah, that's it. Join the Discord server. Come along.